5.4, Sum and Difference Identities. So today we're going to look at some new identities using our calculator. So I would invite you to take out your calculator, make sure it's in radian mode, and then set the window so that it goes from 0 to 2 pi by pi over 2s, and from -1 to 1 by 1s. The result will be that if you graph something like sine of x in the window, one wave of sine of x would show. Okay, so the first thing we're going to graph is sine 2x cosine x plus cosine 2x sine x. So sine 2x cosine x plus cosine 2x sine x. Okay, and watch what happens. What graphed was 1, 2, 3 waves of sine in the period that normally one wave of sine shows up. So that means that all of this, when I typed it in, actually graphed a sine wave. It actually graphed 3 sine waves in the space where normally one shows up. So it adjusted the period. Okay, so now we're going to do sine 2x cosine 3x plus cosine 2x sine 3x. Hear me. Okay. That's 1 sine wave, 2 sine waves, 3 sine waves, 4 sine waves, 5 sine waves. So what graphed was sine where 5 waves showed up in the space that one normally would. Now, to save time, we're going to look at this and problem solve. So when it was sine 2x cosine x plus cosine 2x sine x, we saw sine of 3x. Sine 2x cosine 3x plus cosine 2x sine 3x, we saw sine of 5x. Would you agree that if I typed in sine 4x cosine 5x plus cosine 4x sine 5x, I would see a sine wave, and I would see 9 waves of sine in the space that normally one takes? Try it on your calculator, pause the video, and try. So what this means in general is that if I do sine of something, cosine of something else, plus cosine of that first something, sine of something else, what I'm going to see is a sine wave. In fact, I'm going to see multiple sine waves in the space that one normally takes up. I'm going to see A plus B of them. Okay. So now let's try it with subtraction. Sine 2x cosine x minus cosine 2x sine x. Sine 2x oh dear. Sine 2x cosine x minus cosine 2x sine x. Okay, that's a single sine wave. So we saw a sine wave, sine of x. Now I want you to type in sine 4x cosine x minus cosine 4x sine x and see what you see. I will predict that you will see a sine wave. In fact, you will see 3 sine waves occurring in the space that one normally does. And if you type in sine 7x cosine 3x minus cosine 7x sine 3x, you're also going to see a sine wave. You'll actually see 4 of them. But time doesn't permit me to type them all in. So, in the case of sine A cosine B minus cosine A sine B, you will see sine with A minus B waves. So, what if we did cosine with cosine plus sine with sine? Cosine 2x cosine x plus sine 2x sine x. That looks like a single cosine. So although you might have expected, you might have said, well, I think it's going to be a cosine for sure. You would have been right. But I would have thought 3 cosines. It was actually only 1. And you type this one in, cosine 5x, cosine 2x, plus sine 5x, sine 2x. You'll again see a cosine wave. You won't see 7 of them. You'll see 3 of them. So cosine A, cosine B, plus sine A, sine B will definitely give us a cosine wave. It will give us A minus B of them. So that means if I do cosine 5x, cosine 2x, minus sine 5x, sine 2x, and I want you to do it on your calculator, but you're definitely going to see a cosine wave. You're going to see a lot of them. You're going to see 7 waves. So if I have cosine A, cosine B, minus sine A, sine B, I'm going to actually see cosine of A plus B. Okay, so these are our 4 new identities. And in the homework, we're just practicing on some problems. So for example, sine 35 cosine 5 degrees minus cosine 35 degrees sine 5 degrees. It's sine cosine minus cosine sine, so it's definitely going to be a sine. And it's going to be 35 degrees minus 5 degrees, so 30 degrees. Sine pi over 6 cosine pi over 4 plus cosine pi over 4 sine cosine pi over 6 sine pi over 4. Again, it's mixed, so we're going to see a sine. It's going to be the sine of pi over 6 plus pi over 4, which, if I do some fraction work, pi over 6 plus pi over 4 is common denominator of 12, so 2 pi plus 3 pi would be the sine of 5 pi over 12. Okay, let me get rid of that. Okay, cosine 5 pi over 3, cosine pi over 3 plus sine 5 pi over 3, pi over 5, pardon me, sine pi over 5. It's the cosine plus sine, so we're going to see a cosine. We're actually going to see 5 pi over 3 minus pi over 5. Okay. So we're going to see, let's see, 15 is my common denominator. 25 pi minus 3 pi cosine of 22 pi over 15. Okay, good luck.